Sally White.
Thank you. I had expected to come here and simply listen, but I've been rather stirred at some of the things that have been discussed. So, I live in East Thompson Road in one of the former stellar villages of the town. And one of the things was in reference to the EDC, and perhaps I'm not, maybe it wasn't communicated quite right, but it had to do with the appointments and the terms of the appointments. Many of the, or most of the boards and commissions have, of course, staggered appointments. But, and that with help from the town attorney, it's getting back on track. My sense is that that is not a function that is appropriate for the town attorney. That should be handled in-house administratively. I don't think it's right that we're paying a town attorney to be doing what should be done by the board or by the first selectman or via the administrative work of the assistant. I mean, that is just basic grunt work of the town hall to do something like that. That should not be going on being paid for by an attorney. That's very basic. I'm pretty floored at that. The voting situation and the ballots and the numbers, there seems to be a material weakness in the process. That essentially is a sequence procedure which should be documented, and they should be able to identify where there was a failure. There needs to be uniformity, there needs to be accounted. It's like an accounting procedure in terms of accounting for the votes, the ballots, and the various types. I think that is actually pretty serious, and there should be a request from the board, and I would encourage the board to make a request to the registrars, to the head moderator, to actually do an investigation and document where the failure was, and to actually sequence the steps that should be taken and ensure that they are done at each election time. That's remarkably loose. In the first series of letters that were read regarding the property in East Thompson of Mr. Furno and of Mr. Richardson, in several of those memos, there was reference to, on behalf of the commission, such and such was written. And that was repeated, and that the commission endorses and on behalf of, but each one of those references is meaningless, has no authority unless there's a citation to a vote and what the vote was. For someone who is a staff person to say they're writing on behalf of the commission is empty. They have no authority. The commission, it would have to be a reference to a vote. That the commission, by a vote of blah, 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 on such date, requested that, and this is the language that I prepared this, and actually it should have been signed by the chairman. But to be sending out official things that just say that it's on behalf of, they have to refer to the actual authoritative body and their vote. The last thing would be, by the way, I think that's a good idea to have a data point on the crimes. For years I've been hearing that crime report, and there isn't a data point of reference to see just what's going on. Are they increasing, are they decreasing, at different times of years, is it a certain part of town, and so forth. And I'm sure the citizens would like to know that. And in reference to the Star Road and the attorney nearing a conclusion, I quote, attorney nearing a conclusion, my sense is that the town attorney does research and he presents an array of recommendations to the board. Town attorney doesn't come to a conclusion or make a decision. He does not make a decision on behalf of the town, you all do. He can present his findings and make some recommendations, and he should have an array of options for you and say, this will lead to this may lead to that. But you all come to the conclusion, you make the decision. Town attorney is essentially a contracted staff member. So if he's leading you to say that he's coming to a conclusion, this is what you should do, that's out of hand. And I do hope that you will have at least a special meeting and discuss it with the board. And actually, he should present his findings in a meeting.
Sally, those were my words, that we're nearing the finish with the process. Of the information gathering, I used the word conclusion,
Okay,
okay?
all right,
That was taken, poor use of words, that's all.
okay,
He's completing his overall view of everything, so that way we have the information
for you.
and the options.
Very good. Have me frightened.
No,
It's not good to stir up the natives.
not a problem.
Okay, thank you very much.
Tom Comendo, 40 Star Road. I have a question for the board. Steve, did you get the packet from Mr. Slater by any chance? He sent the packet to every one of you,
Oh, from,
my attorney.
yes.
Then you should know that the road was, the title search was done, and the road, the town doesn't own the road according to the title search. It's a clear title. And that's why we're having, problems with this, because I noticed you read that fancy letter from Ms. Wurge, but you didn't read the letter from Mr. Slater aloud when you received it at the last selectmen's meeting. And I find that a little peculiar, because then the public would know somewhat what's going on with the information my attorney gathered, because he told you what he was gonna do. We were gonna do a title search, and he told you what we were gonna find, and he found it. Virginia Ramsey is the attorney that did the title search. She spent 19 hours in this town hall and came up with that conclusion. That at least should have been presented to the public. We know that much. I know that much, and I don't even have the packet. Second on, there's a story, part one and part two. Karen Werch had a lovely story for these people tonight. She forgot to tell you that Mr. Rawson, when he donated 34 acres, suggested that he was gonna buy 2 landlocked pieces of property. Instead, Mr. Rice suggested the town buy that property, which is the Furno property and the Richardson property, for a song, and I'm not afraid to say it. It's fair market value, yes it is. But you told Mr. Furno a story. You told him that, well, you know, we wanna use it for picnicking and we're gonna preserve it. No one told him it was gonna be a gravel mining operation right next to it. No one told him that Mr. Dave Babbitt gave a letter to the town of Thompson to receive $10,000 from Alan Rawson to mine to the borderline of that property and waive the buffer, the 50-foot buffer from the Furno property. That is not in Carolyn Woods' letter to the public. Of course not. She wants to make it all sound like beds and roses, and it's baloney. And I'm not afraid to say it. There's a conspiracy here happening, and I don't like it. These people, us in town, have been getting this cold shoulder from the people we employ. They're actually working around us and against us, time and time again, 22 months. I'm gonna defend myself. Yes, I said, I'm not afraid to say it. You want to say I said that they stole the land? You did. You went and told somebody a story. You told them what he wanted to hear. You left out bits and pieces. Now, the hearing tomorrow, we're leaving out bits and pieces. I have minutes from September to present day of all the minutes of the wetlands, Steve. It starts off as a construction for a bridge on a road that doesn't exist, but the bridge is going on his own property. As the meetings get canceled because of negligence on behalf of the applicant and on the wetland agent herself, the enforcer. in that process, the wording gets changed from a construction of a bridge to a construction of a driveway. And you guys allow it to happen. Articles in the newspaper don't tell the public it's a bridge. We're gonna disturb the stream, we're gonna alter everything over there. It says we're constructing a driveway. You're misleading the public. Everybody's gonna go tomorrow thinking, he's just putting in a driveway. They're not gonna show up there tomorrow. And it says 0 new road. She took the time to put in, oh, it used to say to the Rhode Island line. Well, that lot used to be all different sizes, and he changed that as well. Let's get to the facts here. You're allowing the members of this town, employees of us, to mislead and misrepresent. And I'm gonna take it back to December 17th. Leo's sitting right here. We have a lady stand up there and say, I got a document from Leo Adams, .339. We all know is a lie. I got an affidavit from him, he didn't do that. We got a letter from Mr. Lanky, saying he's removing the .339. But we're having a meeting about Star Road that doesn't exist. Now, I know you got 65 years of records of Star Road ends at the cul-de-sac. You got aerial photos, you got maps from 67 to 77. I gave everything to Kenny. I'm not shy, I gave him the complete evidence. You know it and I know it. I'm upset at what's going on around here. Someone's trying to ruin my credibility? No. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. You're barking up the wrong tree. It's just wrong. And I'm tired of wasting my time here. The board needs to talk to Mr. St. Ange. You need to come to a conclusion. The evidence is there. I gave you everything. You got maps, you got everything. All your town has, and Mr. River Junction has, is a phony baloney fraudulent document created in this town hall. Created here in that office. I wanna know what the board's gonna do about that. Thank you.
Kevin?
Thank you. Kevin Walsh, Plain Road. Thank you for follow-up information in regards to questions of the previous meeting. Appreciate it. One of your comments was, under the selectmen's comments, you said that there was some correspondence that was sent to the AG's office
Correct.
regarding something in December. Could you please elaborate on that a little bit?
I believe he submitted the letter that I had originally written for the Chief State Attorney's Office,
Regarding what issues?
regarding the allegations of falsified documents.
Okay, because none of what you're saying right now, none of that was shared with us under selectmen's comments, unless I was completely dozing.
No, I reached out to the
Yes,
state's
I wanna
attorney.
know what you reached out, what the issue was, Kenny?
Well,
what
that
your
has
cor-
to do with the
Okay,
339 and the complaint that
okay.
Selectman Smith had filed back in September.
Okay. Could you please share with us the content of your
The
correspondence?
content of the correspondence is that the town has a new administration.
Yeah,
We still have the issue at hand that happened on September.
yeah,
We will fully cooperate with their investigation,
okay,
and we have nothing, that's it, whenever they reach out to us.
okay, all right, thank you very much for
You're
the
welcome.
details on that particular item. Couple of other things, please. Regarding the letters that you read in for the record, I cannot agree more with comments that have been made in this room in regards to some people expressing themselves in such a way that they are the authority or the final say relative to whatever board, committee, or commission that they're associated with. This has been going on for a long time. And if these people continue to do what they're doing and they cannot support their positions with facts, they need to be instructed by somebody that what they're doing is inappropriate, misleading. Now, if these people are gonna be the official voices of whoever they work with, their payroll people, then I would suggest the board has a choice here. Disband the commission, the committee, whatever it may be, and just have one person do all the talking and all the work. Or somebody get to these people and say, look, you are employed by the town of Thompson. We got some nasty stuff that's going on, it's chronic, and I am of the opinion that nobody has talked to these people only because these people have not backed off. Thank you.
Robert Mann, 15 Meadow Drive. I know you said that application IWA 15025 was available for the public, so I went and got a copy. I was just reading it over, and on page 3, number 7, it says, is any portion of this property located within 500 feet of the boundary of an adjoining municipality? It says yes. And the applicant, which was River Junction Estates, put state of Rhode Island and state of Massachusetts. On the next page, it says, if yes, the applicant is required to give written notice of the application by certified mail, return receipt requested, to the adjacent municipal wetlands agency on the same day of filing this permit application with the Town of Thompson Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission. Documentation of notice shall be provided to the commission. So when this application was filed, documentation that somebody notified them, whether it's return receipt by certified mail, should have been given to the wetlands agency. That's here in on the 33-page Town of Thompson Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Regulations. It's section 8, 8.2. When an application to conduct or cause to can be conducted, a regular activity upon an inland wetland or watercourse is filed, and any portion of such wetland or watercourse is it within 500 feet of the boundary of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Woodstock, or Putnam, Connecticut, the applicant shall give written notice of the application by certified mail, return receipt requested, to the adjacent municipal wetlands agency on the same day of filing an inland wetlands permit application with the Town of Thompson Inland Wetlands Agency. Documentation of such notice shall be provided to the Thompson Inland Wetlands Agency in accordance with section 22A-42C of Connecticut General Statutes. That's under application procedures 8.2. There's also an at 8.3, which the Wetlands Agency is responsible for, of the Town of Thompson. The agency shall, in accordance with Connecticut General Statutes, section 8-7D, F, and 22A-42B, notify the clerk of the adjoining municipality of the pendency of any such application, petition, appeal, or request or plan concerning any project site in which, and then it has a list of what the different things, and then on the bottom it says, such notice shall be made by certified mail, return receipt requested, and shall be mailed within 7 days of the application receipt, petition, appeal, request, or plan. Well, I went to Burrville myself and got the letter that they received from the Wetlands Agency here in Thompson, and they received it after the 7 days. So the wetlands agent in town did not send it to them in time. I also contacted them, and they don't have any record of receiving any return receipt requested from River Junction Estates, or they didn't save it or can't find it. So I just asked the First Selectman and the Board of Selectmen to be sure that the Thompson Wetlands Commission sent certified letters out, and River Junction Estates, the day he filed this application, gave return receipts to the town, proving that he notified the abutting municipalities. I'm done. Thank you.
Who's next? Mr. Bear. We've not heard from him in a long time.
Good evening, Paul Bear, Thompson Road. Congratulations to the board on your election. First, regarding election results, I would like to suggest that be considered to generate an Excel spreadsheet where they can enter the data in from the scripts from the machine and the data and the compilation of the absentee ballots and any external ballots that get counted, so it can populate the report without having a human interface that could eliminate just what happened, of taking the wrong numbers. A couple of years ago, when I was putting the numbers up on the website, I made an Excel spreadsheet, because the last thing I wanted to do was put erroneous numbers up the night of the election, because it was a clerical error, and the math was wrong. So it's easier to take a sheet, read off it in the same order, so it's easy to check and verify column by column. And it wouldn't be that difficult. I think it would make their job easier, and less apt to have an error. Regarding the website, pretty sad. I am surprised that a paid webmaster, professional, would put up a website that does not have functioning icons. You click on, and not to mention that you have the first part of the page is full of icons, and it gives no identity to the town of Thompson. You have to scroll down. You can't tell what people are searching on the website. It says most popular files downloaded, agenda from a certain date. You have no idea, unless you go and open it, what meeting it was from, what commission, board, committee it was from. The question would be, who approved the change to the website and the look of it? Because at the Inland Wetlands Commission meeting, in the minutes, they were not given any clue that there was going to be a change to their webpage. That it seems to be, somebody made this empirical decision, and here's what you got. And it's poor. There is no identity for Town Thompson. He does a website for Woodstock. Theirs does not look like that, with half the page or three-quarters of the page up front with icons that don't work. You should be able to click on the icon, not have to go down to where it says for additional information. That shouldn't have gone live until it was functional. You just don't do that. Regarding the Fire Service Advisory Committee, it seems in the last 6 to 8 months that it died. It was created because there was a failure to respond to a life-threatening call. And the committee was formed, it was given a charge. The previous chairman of the committee took it upon herself to get involved with their budgets in the fire department. That was not part of their charge. It had to do with reviewing the fire service for the residents of this town. In the meantime, it cost a senior citizen her life at the senior housing project. They still have not addressed the problems where you have a fire department that's closer and more adequately staffed. That's not in their district. You have a department that's further away that has less staffing during the day and less capability. That's in their district. That should have been reviewed. That should have been addressed. You have other sections of town. I realize the fire departments are the empirical leaders in the community, and nobody wants to mess with the fire departments. Well, Anita Gervais paid the ultimate price for the egos of the fire departments. And if you listen to the tapes, you'll hear what actually happened. And that should never have happened after, that was over a year after the committee was formed to review fire service. And that should move forward, and it should get done before it happens again to somebody else's loved one. Regarding the library and HVAC study, I cannot understand how you could think it's appropriate for a building that size to spend that kind of money for a study. Most HVAC companies that do work have design engineers on staff that you could have gotten it done. You could have had suggestions and proposals from different HVAC companies based upon what you're looking at doing, instead of spending money on studies. You could study something to death. It took how many years to get the curbing in place? I'd like to know if this board would consider putting out an RFP, request for proposals or request for quotes, for attorneys, for legal and accounting fees for the town of Thompson, to continue down the same road year after year after year after year, not knowing whether you're spending $300 for a tube of toothpaste when you could get it for $2. Doesn't make much sense. It's easy to spend everybody else's money. You don't know if you're getting the best legal representation. Bernard Madoff had excellent representation. He's not coming to Thompson anytime soon. And to spend the money over and over, it's a sizable amount of money spent every year. The audits, we requested an audit. Thompson doesn't need an audit. Nothing's gonna happen here. The superintendent of schools in Hebron, guilty of stealing. The clerk at the courthouse in Danielson, fixing tickets for their friends, loss in revenue. It happens everywhere. We heard the attitude at the Board of Finance meeting regarding the library being too special to use volunteers. Thompson isn't that special a place that you don't have the potential for finding something that's gone wrong. Speaking of gone wrong. A driveway permit, from what I know, was submitted to the Board of Selectmen, last board, and I don't know if it's still pending or not. I supplied this information regarding the driveway ordinance for the last board. And the Board of Selectmen, is the board that gives out a driveway permit. And it's for an access onto or an egress from an approved town street. Definition of street: any town-owned way constructed for and dedicated to the movement of vehicles and pedestrians. Star Road hardly qualifies for that. Whether or not you go that the town owns it, it doesn't qualify. We found out at the public hearing in December 2014. Myself, Mr. Pimentel, that day we were at the town hall looking through the records. The only records we found in the town hall stated Star Road 0.15 miles. Went from unimproved to improved. That was it. Amazingly enough, at the public hearing, Kirsten Forrester stood up and said, 0.339 unimproved. The question was asked by me, based on nowhere else that information was available to the public in the town hall. When did it get added? Mr. Lanky chimed in, stating that that was the report that was submitted to the state. Mrs. Forrester stated that she got that report from Leo Adams. Since that time, about 4 months later, we find out Mr. Lanky admitting, yes, it's a forgery. Because the state said no such report was ever submitted to the state. It wasn't on their approved forms. It was never filed. Mr. Adams states he never gave Kirsten Forrester that report. So those are two material misrepresentations. And I would like to give you the statutes, state of Connecticut, for forgery. It's a felony. It's a real serious crime. We have elected officials in this town, or had elected officials in this town, who apparently thought that the laws weren't for them. Former selectman violated the FOI Act, was found guilty of the violation. There was an order in place. Violated it again and ignored the order. Failure to obey an order of the FOI Commission is a Class D misdemeanor, punishable by a fine and or jail time. The rules do apply to our elected officials. The people on the Inland Wetlands Commission have a hearing coming up for a driveway. How can you give them an approval or construct a driveway when you can't get a driveway permit because there's no approved road there? and there never has been, according to the documents that have been in the town hall. There's no listing. Thank you.
Okay, opening of the bids for the stationary compactor for the transfer station. This is something that we had budgeted. Leo brought it to my attention